I'm your host, Annie Bowles, and this is News du Jour. Hey you guys, happy Wednesday and welcome back to the News du Jour. So I have a very bittersweet announcement for you guys today. This is going to be the last week of News du Jour before my maternity leave. It's a little change in plans of what I had in mind. We will have a little pause between now and the content that I had planned for you guys because I'm taking this break earlier than I expected to. I've just been having a super hard time keeping food and water down these days, and I definitely did not expect this for my third trimester because everyone always says that the first trimester is the worst. It's where you're so sick. But with my gastroparesis, it just means that I have a lot less physical room in my abdomen than in a normal pregnancy. So I've been sick pretty much nonstop, and that's even when I'm not talking about it publicly, either online or on here. And unfortunately, there's just nothing we can do about it right now. There's no treatment or medication for gastroparesis. So keeping up with the News du Jour and making sure this baby is healthy, it's just I can't do both. And that said, we do have a special series, a podcast series premiering very soon. That's basically just going to run for the rest of my maternity leave. It's not quite finished yet. We're putting the finishing touches on it for you guys. So like I said, there'll be like a little pause and then that will begin. I'm so excited for you guys to hear this content because I've been working on it, and a lot of like very special interviews and things like that will be popping up on your feed, and it's going to allow me to get the rest that I need and that the baby needs, all while keeping up amazing content for you guys to consume while I'm away. So stay tuned for all the details on that. They'll be coming out soon. I will definitely come on this feed and announce it to you guys, as well as put it on our social media. So stay tuned for that. But I will say I am really, really going to miss writing, researching, and recording this podcast for you guys. It's truly my favorite thing I've ever done in my career, and I'm so excited to bring it back better than ever. On the flip side, I actually have a few changes in mind for a kind of upgraded News du Jour experience after my maternity leave. So don't get any ideas that I'm going anywhere. This podcast is a joy for me to produce, and I will be running back to it as soon as baby August is safely earthside. Now, with further ado, let's go ahead and get into the news. So first up, Vice President Kamala Harris has COVID. So with Joe Biden being the oldest person to have ever been sworn in as president, there's a lot of concern over his inner circle being very infected with COVID. Because now Jen Psaki and Nancy Pelosi have had it, in addition to now the vice president. So things are getting a little dicey. So far, Kamala has 0 symptoms because she's obviously been vaccinated and boosted, but she continues to go ahead and quarantine in the vice president's residence in order to help contain the virus. Let's hope that the president doesn't get it, because that's the last thing the country needs to be stressing over at this time. So next up for today, we have a couple stories about Ukraine. So pretty much Russia is just continuing to move eastward. As we've discussed a lot on this podcast, that seems to be their intention. The Kremlin said this week, though, that they hope to secure not only the eastern part of Ukraine, but also all of southern Ukraine. And I feel like this has everyone on edge. But little towns in eastern Ukraine are already, collecting rainwater for use and living without electricity in many places. Things are hard right now. And Russia has started intensifying their airstrikes just in the past few days, 24 hours, with what's called bunker bombs, which are bombs that are designed to penetrate underground targets. So as we know, a lot of civilians, especially in Ukraine, are hiding in sort of underground bunkers and makeshift ones as well, cellars, things like that, anything that they can, really hide out in that steel mill in Mariupol. As I understand it, a lot of that steel mill is underground. So these type of bunker bombs are definitely set to be effective for places like that. They've also taken out a number of bridges in Ukraine that Ukraine was using to transport, military weapons and supplies for the war, which, a lot of people were guessing that they would not do that so that they could then use those same bridges once they take over these little towns. But it seems like right now it's more important to cut off Ukraine and deal with how to transport their own supplies later. Anywho. Next up, Putin is speaking out now about the February Olympics months later. So this reaction is seriously delayed. It's kind of random, but Putin is circling back to Russia's most recent Olympic doping scandal involving the 16-year-old figure skater Kamila Valieva. He said of the situation just the other day, quote, "Such perfection cannot be achieved dishonestly with the help of additional substances and manipulations. We very well know that these additional substances are not needed in figure skating," end quote. Again, this is just a little strange, and I wonder, he's so calculated a person. I really wonder why he's bringing this up right now, but the situation happened in February, and Putin seems to have bigger fish to fry right now. But anyway, he's taken the time to comment on this sports drama, and that's kind of the news du jour for today, you guys. It's been a really slow news day, so I just wanted to update you guys on those stories, and we'll talk to you tomorrow, and Friday will be our last episode. So again, thank you guys so much. And my maternity leave, I'm set to come back basically at the end of August or early September, so somewhere in that time frame. Stay tuned. And that for today is the news du jour. Today, I wanted to leave you guys with the quote, "The stars cannot shine without the darkness." If you enjoyed this episode, please consider becoming a patron of our podcast. For $7.99 a month, you can unlock tons of perks like breaking news text messages so that you're never out of the loop. Tons of bonus episodes are already up there ready for you to binge, and a discussion board full of networking opportunities and much more. Go to www.patreon.com/sugarfreemedia today to become a patron. This is the best way to support our show. Our patrons make News du Jour possible. But a couple other ways to support our podcast are rate and review on whatever podcast platform you use to listen, share on your social media, you have influence, tell your friends, family, and colleagues that you love News du Jour and why you listen. You can also follow us on social media under sugarfreemedia.co on Instagram, just sugarfreemedia, all one word, on TikTok, and sugarfree_media on Twitter. We also have a weekend newsletter called Dreamers Digest that's full of dreamy content recommendations for your weekend and a life update from yours truly. Sign up today on our website, www.sugarfreemedia.co. Our music is by Joey Lavoie and Nicholas Foster. Our cover art is by Hannah Pierce Photography. Our Sugar Free Media logo is by Catherine Jessic Designs. Any twinkling or little footsteps you might hear in the background are by my dog, Rhett. He's a rescue pup and always records with me. We appreciate you listening and look forward to telling you about the news again next time on News du Jour.
broadcasting from
Oklahoma.